just as a little intro to what we're going to take you through, here's an agenda with everything we're going to go through. It's quite similar to what you saw this morning with obviously some additional elements we're going to go through. We've developed the work obviously since this morning and taken on board your feedback on all of the stuff we went through, and so hopefully you should see that reflected in everything we go through. And so kind of as a starting point to that is actually talking about the positioning in the mission statement. So we know you were really happy with the mission statement earlier. I had some reservations about the positioning, so we've had another look at that. So Alistair's going to take you through that first, and then we'll move on to the work we're going to do.
Okay, so I suppose pretty much where we started with this project is essentially we obviously we came around, we spoke to you about the FNA and the kind of things you do, and the starting point for us was to try and work out, you know, what the FNA stood for as an organisation. And once we'd sorted that out, that allowed us then to start to think of ideas that kind of organisation would do. So this as a line is not necessarily something that we think you would ever have to put on a website or ever even tell people. It's just a kind of set of words that make sure that when we talk about what we do as an organisation, we're all in agreement. And what we came up with was standing up for the Fitzrovian people. We stand up for Fitzrovia and we work to make it a better home for all the people who live and work here. So that's our mission statement, and then hopefully the guys will show you how we've taken that, particularly the line Fitzrovian and proud, and tried to bring that to life, I guess.
Yeah.
Good.
So what we'll go through next is the brand identity work that we've done.
So obviously you have no sort of brand identity as such at the moment.
No.
So I investigated sort of typographic treatments with the FNA, and then sort of went into this housing kind of abstract kind of look and feel, for the sense of you protecting people's housing, their well-being, and again exploring different compositions of the F mark, sort of like iconic sort of shapes and positioning of the typography itself. And again, more explanations how the typography would actually sit with the brand mark.
Yeah, I like that the square one there. That I find quite bold.
Right. Yeah. Then to introduce sort of colour to the brand, because that can be very stark, but we were quite keen in the campaign to give it a fresh, energetic sort of look and feel. It's sort of break simple process colours again because of primarily the newspaper, sort of cyan, magentas, yellows, using them at sort of 100%, so we don't get any repro issues.
It also, like, having this kind of like colouring system just allows you to digest the paper in a more efficient way. If you're like time starved and you do just want to know a bit about the history or pubs that Bob Dylan's frequented in the past, as opposed to like more kind of serious business issues. So it kind of allows you to go through it quicker, taking out the bits that you want to benefit from. So. And
again, I think we've applied that to the campaigns where you can at a glance then realise what the subject matter is, and again, sort of sitting the Fitzrovian in bold, possibly with the logo. I'm not convinced yet. I think maybe the campaign itself delivers that. But again, that's something we can investigate. And literally just rotating it 45 degrees to create the masthead, which would be the Fitzrovia or Fitzrovia Knees. And here we go. It's completely simplifying what you've already got. And I suppose we're going to try and cover off celebrating the history of the era, hence the greens. You might want to bring up a local topic about business or housing, which you'd adjust the main masthead colour to. So I'll just quickly take you through these. So obviously Dylan Thomas used to drink around the era. Again, this hopefully will draw in sort of tourists, local people that don't know about that, or local businesses, making it more of a coffee table kind of thing that you pick up.
I think also like just how much of a change this is from your paper as it stands, because there's far more impact with like having a larger image that kind of hopefully stop people immediately chucking this in the bin and kind of grabbing their attention.
So I'll just quickly go through a few. Again, you've got Oscar Wilde, obviously another famous frequenter of Fitzrovia and the bars, like us all. And again, on a more serious topic, which again with housing, this could be Bill's story. But again, shot quite nicely and graphically, just to get impact and not being too information heavy on the front, but just drawing people in. And again, whilst when we educate people, people begin to realise that the colours mean certain things. You know,
and not getting hung up on the negative side of the story. It's like kind of making sure that we start with the positive every time.
Yeah.
And again, this is not Christine, but business sort of colour.
Yeah.
But then obviously talking about Christine, local shopkeeper in New Cavendish Street since 1953, so celebrating that, and then it could be a little article about Christine in there, so you're celebrating local business plus the history as such. Local seamstress from Charlotte Street, you know, so featuring local people, not just celebrities or development work or that kind of thing. Colour, black and white, it shows it kind of works both ways in that sense. I don't want to eliminate colour. So that this is what we were discussing earlier as well, the name change. So you've got Fitzrovia News and then we've got Fitzrovian. So again, sit on it, because I mean, obviously it's a big change, but ideally I think it would be nice if we could go.
Well, let's suggest
You know,
more
but
magazine format. I mean, of course, as a newspaper, it's every 3 months, so it doesn't really suggest up-to-the-minute news anyway.
It's because I mean, you know, like I said, it seemed like a big change for you earlier, but just digest it for a bit and
It's something I don't think any. If you want to stay with the Fitzrovia News, I don't think that impacts upon the rest of it. I think you'd have either or.
Yeah.
It's just I think our preference is for the Fitzrovian, so we've done you both so that you can in your own time.
Do you know what I think? I mean, I like the idea of the Fitzrovian.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of losing Fitzrovia News.
Of course,
But I like the idea of the Fitzrovian, a yearly thing, an annual review that we sell advertising for. Yeah. We work on it throughout the year and incorporate things like something make really stylish. And we have sort of long-lasting features in it.
Yeah.
So that's something we can.
right, totally.
I think it's a large part of it is how it's presented, you know, in communications, you know, because the name is the starting point, but it's then how you actually spread that and get the awareness of it like that. And I think, you know, one of the things we've always talked about through this is, yes, sort of residents are a core part of what we're trying to do, but, you know, if we had stickers sort of saying, you know, we're Fitzrovians, you know, that you could give to local businesses, you know, that if they had in the opposite, this pub had, you know, it's just sort of showing that you belong and you're proud to be part of Fitzrovia, and that was sort of the thinking behind it.